The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club is infamous for its violent and criminal activities and has been involved in a series of notorious incidents across Europe. It started from the United States and expanded all around the western part of the globe, particularly in Belgium, Denmark, and Germany. With their dark activities came their fierceness that led to horrible incidents. These incidents, characterized by brutal clashes with rival biker gangs and even attacks on law enforcement officials, have left a trail of death and destruction. They provide a constant highlight of the dangerous and menacing nature of this notorious motorcycle gang. Today we have brought you some incidents that will reflect that. Belgium Attack 2009. One of the most significant incidents involving the Hells Angels occurred in 2009 in Maasmechelen, Belgium. This incident happened because another bikers club named the Bandidos were building some influence in Maasmechelen. Seeing these signs, Hells Angels predicted that there could be an uprising threat, so it's time to do something to show their dominance in the region. It's just like the situation when a new lion tries to enter the area. The lion who's already ruling starts to give him precautious signs, and eventually he fights him to prove his dominance. A group of Hells Angels orchestrated a deadly attack on their rival biker gang, the Bandidos, during a meeting at a bar. The motive behind the attack was to prevent the Bandidos from establishing a chapter in Belgium, thereby safeguarding the Hells Angels' dominance in the region. Armed with weapons, the Hells Angels stormed the bar, leaving one Bandido member dead and several others severely injured. The dead guy was a major positioned member of the Bandidos. They left the others heavily injured with broken bones so they could serve as a reminder for the ones that tried to come against Hells Angels. This violent confrontation further solidified the reputation of the Hells Angels as a dangerous and ruthless outlaw motorcycle gang. 1983 Copenhagen Attacks. Similarly, the year 1983 witnessed intense clashes between the Hells Angels and the newly formed Bullshit MC in Copenhagen, Denmark. The root cause of these clashes was a territorial dispute, as both gangs sought to expand their control over lucrative territories within the city. In 1983, 3 members of Bullshit Club with a woman decided to visit a club that was renowned as the Den of the Hells Angels. 2 of these guys, named Grabo Grander and Flemming Hall Jensen, were stabbed to death in a bottle and knife fight. What's even more surprising was that person who murdered them was not even a guy. A female member of Hells Angels named Sylvia Nielsen, famous as a blonde, was the one who killed those guys. Further confrontations between the 2 groups resulted in the deaths of 2 individuals, one from each gang, and dozens of others were injured as the violence escalated. This episode of bloodshed further fueled the already tense and volatile relations between the 2 rival biker gangs. In biker gangs, this rivalry stays at the top because you will always see the continuous phase of competition between them. But in being more fierce, Hells Angels always come up with something far worse. Seeing these sorts of activities, some countries have sought to implement legislation specifically targeting outlaw motorcycle gangs, making it easier for law enforcement to investigate and prosecute their criminal activities. These measures have included stricter penalties for gang-related offenses and the forfeiture of assets acquired through criminal means, but these incidents never seem to be stopped. Nordic Bikers War. The Nordic Bikers War, spanning from the early 1990s to the early 2000s, were a dark chapter in the history of European motorcycle gangs. The Hells Angels and the Bandidos engaged in a protracted and deadly conflict across Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. The primary motive behind these wars was the fierce competition for control of the biker market in the Nordic region. Both gangs sought supremacy and territorial dominance, leading to numerous violent confrontations that left at least 11 people dead and hundreds more injured. The toll of death and destruction during these wars solidified the perception of the Hells Angels as a menacing force with little regard for human life. Efforts to combat the Hells Angels' criminal activities have involved intelligence gathering, undercover operations, and collaborative efforts between national and international law enforcement agencies. The identification and prosecution of key leaders and influential members have been crucial in weakening the gang's operations and disrupting their criminal enterprises. This all started a new chapter where Hells Angels could be seen going against law enforcement authorities. 2-year war against outcasts. A club named Outcasts was exciting in Londonderry for years, but never had a conflict with Hells Angels. In the late 1990s, they tried to rise up a bit, and it was the time when they turned against the Hells Angels. So the American heads of Hells Angels ordered them to completely wipe Outcasts away. The major reason behind it was the drug and prostitution control in the United Kingdom's capital, and their numbers were also increasing day after day. Outcasts were the ones to play the first move, and 2 of their members even got arrested when they were going to attack Hells Angels with their loaded shotguns. In June 1998, a chapter of Hells Angels named Hatchet Crew ambushed 2 of Outcast members in a concert. Dead rivals were important Outcast members, infamous as Terminator and Flipper. They were dragged down from their bikes and stabbed through axes until death. This conflict went on for 2 years, with blood being shed continuously, and then ended up as a win for Hells Angels, as Outcasts were disbanded in the end. Germany 2010 police station attack. The Hells Angels' violent activities extended way beyond clashes with rival biker gangs, as they were also known to target law enforcement officials. In 2010, a brazen attack on a police station in Dortmund, Germany, shocked the public and law enforcement authorities alike. The attack was a retaliatory response to a prior police raid on a Hells Angels clubhouse. Seeking revenge, members of the Hells Angels launched an assault on the police station, resulting in the injury of 1 police officer. This incident further underscored the group's brazen disregard for the law and their willingness to use violence to settle scores. The Hells Angels' reputation as a violent and dangerous motorcycle gang is not limited to Europe. Their activities have extended to the United States as well. Throughout history, the group has been linked to various criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, arms dealing, and money laundering. Their hierarchical structure, strict code of silence, and well-organized criminal enterprises have made them formidable adversaries for law enforcement agencies worldwide. Collaborative efforts and international cooperation among law enforcement agencies are critical in combating the menace posed by the Hells Angels and other outlaw motorcycle gangs, because precaution is the only way out. The more we try to stop them, the worse it gets. We need to stop the younger generation from entering these gangs. That's the only way out. This was it for today. Hopefully you liked it. Let us know in the comments section what you want to see next. Do give it a like and share with your friends. Always check your tire pressure before driving, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.